For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. What's my opening sentence? What a week that was. We're going to recap. Well, you know what's happened. It started with the Super Bowl, and then look at what happened midweek. It's all coming up on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here, back on The Scribble, and we're in award show season, but always one of the weekends kind of in between a bunch of the award shows is the Super Bowl. Apparently now, I think maybe just outside of the Olympics, is the most watched television, telecast in the world. And now, see, just as I'm saying it, I'm kind of like, we better fact check that. I know in the United States, anyway, the viewership this year surpassed, I think it was 123 million. Now, the way that TV ratings work, this is sort of weird. Back in my day, when I started doing entertainment reporting, we still do, but we would get the numbers. There's so many different names and things that happen now there's the Fast Nationals, there's the Live Plus Day or Live Plus 3 Day, and so the way they calculate ratings before was we would get the numbers the next morning, right? So it's Monday night and the primetime shows, whatever. So now it's Tuesday morning. I think it comes out like 9 a.m. Pacific. We get them at 11 o'clock Central, noon on the East Coast, and you would have the numbers, right? And that's those Nielsen boxes that, some people have and document what they watch. And then now in the dawning age of recording and then watching an episode later or watching a show later, they now calculate things like that, right? So if it's watched even in the same week, that still counts as a viewer from Monday night, okay? And then, so we have the overnight numbers, which, we get in, and we talked about that on an entertainment wrap-up, was, we get the number, but then it usually gets adjusted up. It could be adjusted up or down, but generally it's up because that's where they're factoring in the plus however many days, right, for the rest of the week, people watching their show that they recorded. So the number, that's where people go and say, wow, you're saying it's this, but it's actually this, because it changes throughout the week, right? No different than, let's talk to the Americans again, no different than when you have a mass shooting, right? You've got 1 dead, 14 injured, and then it's 17 injured, then 20, then 23. It's an evolving story, so it's changed. So it's not that the numbers are concrete the next morning as they once used to be. They now consider somebody who watches the show within a few days. They tally that into the total number as well. Okay, so now the reason why I ended up talking about it, the Super Bowl, so much on our entertainment show is because of the Taylor Swift angle. Now, I think every year that I've been an entertainment correspondent, we've always recapped the entertainment, like the halftime show, the national anthem, and just any sort of other, like the celebrities in attendance, because they always get their few seconds on screen. So there is an entertainment angle to that major sporting event. It's kind of like politics now, how if there's a major political story, well, we also report on how the celebrities are chiming in. So everything is kind of bleeding into another now, sports into entertainment, politics into entertainment. And evidently, I guess, politics into sports because of that whole conspiracy, that Taylor Swift is trying to... What is she trying to, take down the government or something? I don't even remember what that was. Or she was influencing something. Whatever. But here's the thing. And And I don't even give a shit if, like, the Taylor Swift... And I refuse to use the term Swiftie. So, like, even if the crazed Taylor Swift fans come at me, which, I mean, I'm not big enough that they would, so I'm not even afraid that all of a sudden I'm going to start getting death threats. But the fact that you can get death threats for either just, saying something negative or trash talking. Look at when there was those stupid AI, the naked pictures of her, whatever. And I mean, again, as an entertainment reporter, and I own a media company, for years, people have been trying to sell us fake celebrity nudes for I don't even know how long. So, and that's Photoshop, that's like doctored, however, I don't know exactly how they made them. I'm assuming they just, cut out a face and then whatever they did. I don't know how they make them. But we've been approached for years to buy them because I guess being an entertainment reporter, they think, oh, this is a tabloid agency, which we're not. And we would never buy them. But my point is that those types of photos, real but mostly doctored, have been around forever, right? Think about even just on the National Enquirer. Now I'm talking to an older audience at this story, but right. But I mean, you'd have kind of the tantalizing, the teasing, scandalous photo of a celebrity, and that's not really them. So the fact that all of a sudden there's these AI generated images of Taylor Swift out there, and I'm not saying it's the right thing. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just the outrage as though this was like a new, how dare they do that to this woman? It's like, excuse me, they've been doing that to women for how many years? Like, where were all of you before? Like, this is just because it's Taylor Swift. I mean, let's just say, and this is just an example. This is just, what if she died in her private plane crash? Like, what if, what happens? Is there going to be a day of mourning? Is there going to be a national holiday? And same thing, let's just backtrack to Kobe Bryant, right? Just a couple of days ago as well, I guess last week or something. And this like big statue of him. And I keep saying like, it's 4 years or something now. And I'm just like, why is it? It's on the news. We're in Los Angeles. It's on the news. Like, just that there's this big unveiling and there's people lined up. And I'm thinking, he was a basketball player. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this. There are far bigger celebrities that die. Now, here I am ranking celebrities in terms of, clout or how they've made a difference in the world. I'm not saying he wasn't a great guy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like, we're erecting, like, statues of people now. And Vanessa, like, she's just, I'm not telling her to get over it, but get over it. I don't know. It seems like she's just milking this, whether it's lawsuits or whatever, just every year she's going to pop up on the anniversary. And think about, even, I'm thinking of Betty White, when she passed away, obviously that was a big deal. I don't know, there statues of her? Is like, what's going on? Or even just whoever. I mean, name an iconic celebrity. I don't know about this. So going back to this idolization of Taylor Swift, it's really weird to me. Because, and I saw a meme, that's what they're called, right? Meme on Instagram, Instabook, whatever it's called now. I saw a meme, there was a picture of Swift and then there was a picture of Trump, and it was basically not juxtaposing, but it was basically going and saying, like, these are millionaires or billionaires who have never met you, like, will never meet you, but yet you devote your life to them and you live and breathe everything that they say. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like, we need to take a step back, people, because they really are just human beings. She's a great singer. She's, whether you want to say that she's a philanthropist because she ends up, giving a lot of her money away. But at the end of the day, she's just one person who, on the surface, seems nice, genuinely, loving her fans and things like that. But, and I'm going to call out my husband on this one because, here we are, I guess I've told embarrassing stories about him before. When we first, we're going back, 7-8 years. When we first started talking and getting to know each other, remember he was a listener of our radio shows and was emailing back and forth. When we started to have actual video conversations, once we were getting to know each other, he told me that he cried when he saw Beyonce in concert. And I remember laughing. I still laugh at him and make fun of him. And I'm sitting here going, oh boy, here's this big, remember, he's a big grown bodybuilder, tattooed, muscle guy, crying at seeing Beyonce in concert. This wasn't a meet and greet where he's, got his arm around her and getting a picture taken. He was just at the concert and saw her. And maybe this is just because I've been around celebrities for my job. I've done red carpets. I talk with them. I have phone numbers in my, I have them as contact. I've just never really been like that. And it's weird to me that there's just this, you go from like 0 to 100 when, just somebody dares talk about Taylor Swift or says something about Taylor. And it's a little much. And so same thing with Super Bowl, where we end up, because it's an entertainment show, as I mentioned, we do talk a little bit about the game, kind of, sort of, not really. But I know going into, the game hasn't even started yet, Sunday afternoon, and we're already pre-writing who's she with there, like, who's in her private box, which, and like that was kind of the, and then we have to sort of rank your talking points as to what's most important. And it was that Taylor Swift was there. It's just weird. Now, that's how we do reporting of entertainment or sports stories when there's an entertainment angle to it. But it's weird to me. It's just weird that anytime there's a good play or, a point or whatever for Kansas City, that we see more reaction shots of her than perhaps even the fans in the crowd. So I understand where, I'm not saying it's right, but I understand where, what was her thing about she was pissing off dads, Chads and Brads? I understand the people that are getting upset by it, where it's like, why is, like, we're tuning in for the game. Just show us the game. Don't show us Taylor Swift. Don't talk about her. Don't talk about the boyfriend. We're just here to watch sports. I get that. I totally get it. Because I think I would probably find it annoying too. Now, I don't know that it's necessarily a straight guy thing, because here I am, a big old fag, and I'm kind of like, it's enough of the Taylor Swift thing. It's a little bit much. It's a little bit much already. So, I don't know. But just think if something does happen to her. Could you imagine, she breaks a leg, or like even on TMZ, the fact that she sat down, she was in concert and she almost missed a chair when she was on stage, that was a headline on TMZ. That she recovered quickly, or that she almost tripped. She was coming down like stairs on the stage and had a bit of a mini stumble. And then we see it in so we see the clip, and then we see it in slow motion again. Oh, she almost fell. And that's a headline. Like, it's very, very weird to me. Now this is where you go and say, but JB, you're an entertainment reporter. You even report on these things. Not shit like that. Not that she almost missed a chair. That's not, we have 3.5 minutes on our entertainment show. It's got to be a really, really slow news day if that's what we're talking about on Entertainment Wrap-Up. I'm just putting that out there. So, now, speaking of Super Bowl, we shift then to Wednesday when there was, it was Valentine's Day. And then, of course, naturally, you got to celebrate Valentine's Day with guns and a parade in the United States. We'll talk about that on the Scribble right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here as we continue our recap of the week. Wednesday, Valentine's Day, and coincidentally, this was just a timing thing, I guess, is the Kansas City parade for the Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs, and So let's just rewind, because Valentine's Day started out just a regular day for most people, right? You have the obligatory flowers that your partner had to buy you, or else they'd get called out or sleep alone. And then that turns into all of the, the staging of photos, because you've got to show the beautiful flowers that you got. And I've always laughed, and I guess I started saying this even when I was single, where it's like, once he starts buying you flowers on a random Tuesday morning, I'm going to be impressed by that. But because he felt compelled, obligated, pressured, bullied into buying you flowers on Valentine's Day, that's, I don't know. We did a thing on when I was a consumer columnist in a newspaper in my hometown, that I went to. I think it was a Walmart. I went on the 15th, so the day after Valentine's Day, and got 4 dozen roses. I think they were marked down to like $5 each. So I was able to get 4 dozen roses for $20. And on Valentine's Day, just 24 hours earlier, you could get $40 for a dozen, basically, or a dozen for $40, excuse me. And so when I first got together with my husband, and naturally you always kind of think that it's the man buying the wife, and in our case, the top buying the bottom flowers. And there's that pressure, right? Because you kind of think like when it's a new relationship. And so I said to my husband before even we were married, I said, I'm going to be pissed off if you buy me flowers that are that expensive that day. Because me being a cheapskate at heart, it's like, do it the next day when it's a bargain, and buy me 4 times as many than, for the same amount than you would have a day prior. Like I'm going to appreciate that more. But in today's materialistic world, it shows that he loves you because he spent the $50, $60 on a dozen roses that are going to die in a few days. I mean, I don't know. And then I saw somebody also this year posted, like, why not buy an actual living plant? And my husband, by the way, here's another Charles story for you. He actually did buy me roses, like a rose plant. Early on in our relationship, this was, I don't even know, we weren't married at the time. He ended up, my mom wanted to go to the gym with him. When everybody first met my husband, as I said, he's a bodybuilder, whatever. It was a great thing to go to the gym with him because he knows what he's doing. They wanted to either just watch him or whatever. And so my mom called us one night and she asked if he wanted to go to the gym. He wasn't, I don't know if even he was living with, I think he was just visiting. I don't think that he lived with me yet. And so I was like, yeah, fine. Oh, that's right. I was tweeting Bachelor. I was called away in my usual duties on Monday or Tuesday. So he's like, yeah, fine. I'll go to the gym with your mom. And I didn't know that there's a grocery store right beside the gym where she goes. And so he had gone in there, and he, instead of getting actual roses, he got a small little rose plant. And I just remember laughing and going, well, that's not exactly when I said it. I made a comment earlier, though, about, oh, remember to get me roses or get me flowers. And so he actually got a flower plant, which, and now that I think about it, when I saw that person's meme about buying actual living plants on Valentine's Day, I was like, yeah, actually, because that plant lasted a really long time, and now it's something that we still have, and we look at it and it's still growing. So yeah, we don't do the big, flowers and whatever on Valentine's Day. We're the couple that's going on the 15th and getting it all clearance, 50% off. I mean, why not? Really, if you think about it, that is price gouging at its finest on Valentine's Day. You really want to look at something like that. So because we don't do that, we don't have a big, And truthfully, this is where people are going to go and say, oh my God, we're generally very romantic and cuddly and lovey-dovey every day anyway. We don't do, and I don't know if I've talked about it on a previous show or it's coming up, but I know that I've recorded a segment about it, where we don't do that whole, like on his birthday, I don't post and go, oh, the love of my life, I love you so much, I wouldn't be anything without you. I don't do that on our anniversary. I don't do that we just don't do that. And so that's where I do laugh at people who just, because I said, I talk to him. I can say it to him. Why do I need to have that play out publicly? Then so we did a poll on our coffee company page where it was a question of thoughts on, I don't remember what it said, but something to the effect of, your thoughts on posting your Valentine's gifts and, romantic or tacky. And most people just said tacky. And I don't know if they were single or not, but it is a little bit weird though. It's just strange. I don't know. Like I said, my husband buys me flowers every week. So for me, to not get them on Valentine's Day isn't, whatever. And as I said, I get them on a random Tuesday morning or Thursday afternoon when he comes back from, whatever he's doing. If he's running, we have a gym in our house, but sometimes he goes to the public gym if he's training somebody or whatever, but he'll come back with flowers, and that's just a nice thing. So, to me, Valentine's Day really is just, I think it's a reminder for those people who don't show that kind of love every day. I mean, he's Brazilian, he's very romantic, he's very loving, and at the same time, you also have to remember that we work together. I manage his modeling career, we own a coffee company together, he helps manage our swimwear company. So we're together most of the day, and you really get sick of each other if you didn't have that sort of love, right? I think a lot of couples found that out during the pandemic. Well, for us, it was like, it wasn't a different, setup for us because we're always together. That's our personal life and our professional life. They're together, and that's that. So I laugh at the people that, because, and also too, just the fact that your instant thought wasn't, I'm going to revel in this moment. I'm going to drink in the love. I'm just going to, the first thought is to grab a phone and take a picture and upload that for social media. That's not my first thought when he comes home with flowers or a teddy bear or chocolate or whatever. I'm not, hold on, got to get the phone. Now I've got to put them in a vase, and now I've got to, let's dress the kitchen table and make it look nice. That's not my first thought. And I think that's where, everybody has their relationship play out publicly. And truthfully, I actually laugh at people who, when they first get into a relationship, all of a sudden their feed on their social media page, usually Instagram, is all about that person, like their partner that they're with. And it's just like full force. And there's times, because I'm an asshole, I actually kind of like when all of a sudden it just disappears and you're like, oh, there we go. There's that relationship that didn't work. And then you have that discussion with people about, well, once you end a relationship, do you wipe that person off of your social media page, or are they still around? Because you're basically making it seem like they didn't exist ever, even though the relationship is over. And yeah, I've always found that when you come out, I use the term guns blazing in like you're just all about that person. You're just love. Oh my God, this is so great to be with you. These wonderful, vacation photos, or the first Christmas together, and you're matching jammies or whatever. And then when I see your name come up again, I'm kind of like, I haven't seen the partner in a while. Let me just go and scroll the page. And, because I don't necessarily know the partner's name, but I'm just like, oh, I remember laughing at these people going, every single fucking post is about the relationship. Where is it now? Guess that didn't work out. So it's strange. It's funny to me. Think about it before. Back in the day, if you got a divorce or you split from somebody, it wasn't a big public, not everybody do. And when you work with your coworker, I don't know if you follow maybe some people are very close with their coworkers, but, if I worked in an office of like 50, 60 people, I'm just saying this as like a hypothetical, I would not have most of them on my social media page. When I've had a job, when I've worked for another company, I've always just made it very clear, like, I'm not here for the friends, like, I'm here to do the job. If I happen to like hit it off with somebody, and I think maybe that's happened like maybe with one person in like all of the jobs that I had back in the day, then I keep in touch or whatever. But I certainly don't know the relationship. Like I don't know if somebody is dating or what the deal is. If people are married and they talk about their partner, okay, fine. But I don't get constant relationship status updates just because I don't care. Right? It's just not. So we were joking about that, or we always laugh about that with our coffee guys, because they live in our house, first of all, but it's like we're not like that. When Charles brings flowers or whatever, it's not that we have them right on the table for everybody to see it, whatever, because that's so obnoxious. It's so obnoxious. Your relationship is for you. Like, who cares what? And then what's the point of you want the likes? Are you wanting the envy from people? Is there supposed to be jealousy involved? Because that's a shitty thing to do too, then, to people. So tell me your thoughts on this one, by the way. I want to hear from you. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. Are you one of those people who's just, I love you, my wonderful husband. Happy birthday. Here's to many more years. Ugh. Fuck off. This is so gross. I just tell you to email me and then I tell you to fuck off. Live at jbonair.com. Are we going to go right into we're going to take a break and we're going to talk about that Kansas City mass shooting on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here, back on the Scribble. We shift just slightly then from Valentine's morning and early afternoon to the massacre in Kansas City following the Super Bowl parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they won the big game on Sunday, so I was told. And it's, so this, like I said, this ties into my Valentine story because my husband and I, we generally will sleep in until 10:30, 11 o'clock, maybe noon on a really good day. And then I go and do the bathtub, and then he goes and does a workout in the basement. And then we'll reconvene at about 1:30 or 2 o'clock. On Valentine's Day, though, we were up a little bit early for some reason. I don't remember why. Again, early for us is like 10 o'clock in the morning. And so we did whatever around the house, and then we ended up going for lunch because it's a restaurant we go to. I wouldn't say it's one of our favorite restaurants, but it's one that we go to. They had buy one. This is how romantic we are. It was a burrito. It's a burrito Mexican restaurant. Buy a burrito, get one free on Valentine's Day. So I was kind of like, whatever, fine. So that's where we were when all of a sudden there's the news alert about this mass shooting. Now, it's a news alert, yes, as in general news, but then because I'm an entertainment correspondent for a bunch of the radio stations that aired our programming back in the day, and I've stayed with them, then there's always that dilemma of, okay, well, are celebrities chiming in? Because if celebrities are chiming in, there's a chance that once the station covers the actual news portion of it, right? Here's from the cops, here's from the mayor or whoever, they hear from everybody that's important in that city or that area, in that location, then we might bleed over into how are the celebrities reacting. And so sometimes it happens if there's a mass shooting, but I mean, there's so many mass shootings that it doesn't always happen. I'd be the mass shooting celebrity correspondent because I'm not going to scour and go, what does Bette Midler say about the latest mass shooting? What does Stephen King say about it? What does Ricky Gervais say about it? We wouldn't have that kind of time. And I don't think that stations want to depress their listeners like that. So we were out for lunch, and all of a sudden it pops up, and I looked at them, and I was like, oh shit, are they going to come to me because it's a Super Bowl story? Because it's like, was Taylor Swift there? She wasn't, but that's going to be the first thing people are wondering. I think she's Australia or something now this week. But, there's football players there. Were any football players shot? We've got to kind of go through the motions of that story. So then I'm sort of on standby, and I'm like, well, we might have to get home, and I might have to jump into the radio studio that, I have a radio studio at the house. We might have to jump into that. We weren't near our office, so I would just end up going home. And thankfully, there wasn't really anything. We kind of just recapped the football player reactions, but it's interesting though to see how Americans react. So we put on CNN. We still will have that on the TV when there's a big American, national story. And it's just weird because we've seen so many of them, and even the anchors are saying, or the correspondents or the expert, the commentators. That's another thing. I hate that they fucking have 17 commentators all night. It's like, just give us the news. Just tell us the updates. If there's no update, move on to the next story. But they go and say, it's just another one. All countries have mental illness, but it's the United States. It's a gun thing. Then they bring in the politics of it all. And then they make references to places, sometimes like Canada, right? I'm Canadian. And, the world, Wolf Blitzer always says when he's not almost throwing up on TV, the world is watching us and they're looking at us and going, and it's like, yeah, we are actually. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's just kind of. But at the same time, do Americans really give a shit what others think? Obviously not. So it is strange being an outsider, but in the U.S. so often that, and both of us are outsiders. My husband's from Brazil, I'm from Canada. So when we're in Los Angeles, which is becoming a more dangerous, we're West Hollywood, but even we can't come outside of our house, walk down the slope or the hill to Santa Monica Boulevard, and then walk down Santa Monica without passing, homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk. So So, and it's getting dangerous even just if you look at the LA news in terms of, carjackings and the smash and grab robberies in stores and everything. Like, it's just getting ridiculous. Add in guns to the mix, and it's just, yes, people are looking at Americans or the United States and going, eek, eek. And then, of course, when the story breaks and my friends or colleagues, from Canada, we text and it's like, oh, did you see what's happened? And everybody's just like, yeah, that's the country, though. Deal with it. And I've never heard of people being or feeling so powerless in that, just with anything. Because there we go, back to the Taylor Swift thing. AI photos. Oh my God, it's an outrage. Stop it. It must be stopped. It must be stopped. And boom, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, it was almost gone within 48 hours. Now, I realize that guns on the streets are a completely different story, but what I'm saying, though, is like the power of the people just on something like that. But you just go and say, wait a second, wait. The politicians work for us. We're their bosses. That's their job to listen to us. But why are they telling us what's happening? And I remember just becoming an adult at the very beginning when I bought my house and whatever. I just remember thinking, I got a note from the city. I got a threatening letter from the city because I didn't have handrails on my front stairs. As a first-time homeowner, I, first of all, didn't even realize that was a thing. But I got a letter from the city threatening me with $1,000 fine and or 6 months behind bars. Yes. You've got no handrails on your stairs. That's a city bylaw infraction. You could pay and or be locked up because you don't have handrails on your stairs. Think about all the other crimes that are drugs, beating, children, murder, kicking dogs, strangling, whatever, pepper spraying somebody, knifing somebody. But you're going to lock me up and you're going to tie up government resources, tax dollars, I'm saying, because I didn't have handrails on my motherfucking front stairs. So that was when I had this change of heart and I was like, no, wait a second. You are not going to talk to me like I'm a criminal, that like I'm not following the rules. No. You guys work for me. And I did. I'm a loudmouth. I'm an asshole. I ended up emailing all of the city councilors and the mayor and whoever, in my hometown. And I said, I'm not going to be spoken to like this. And it's in writing, but I'm still taking that as being spoken to. Like, you're not going to communicate this way to me. You're not. I'm not going to. And if need be, I was a business owner at the time. I was like, I will, not that I have a very large business, but I had a business that had 300,000 radio listeners and did travel tourism programming and had a great reach of people. If I wanted to go and tell them Winnipeg fucking sucks, it's a shithole town, it's a disgusting cesspool, that would have some clout back in the day when I was hosting that. In my prime on the radio, that would have meant something, me saying that. So that's where I was like, no, this is not going to happen. And I did not have the and then they give you like 2 weeks. Well, wait a second. On one hand, the city tells you to get quotes when you're getting work done, right? A new roof or, whatever. Get quotes. Don't just go with the first place. So if a company can't come out or can't get it installed within the 2 weeks, I'm going to go to jail because I can't tell that company, I need them like tomorrow. So if you could just kind of like hurry up because I'm going to go to jail if we don't. Like, it was so unreasonable. And I believe, I haven't seen the actual latest paper, but I just said, you're not going to talk to me like that, and you're not going to tell. What if I've got to go and tell my grandma, I might be doing time, Baba, that's what we call our Ukrainian grandma, I might be doing time, Baba, because I didn't have handrails on my stairs. Your grandson's going to no, I wasn't doing drugs, didn't kill anybody, Baba. Nope, didn't kill anybody, didn't have handrails. See you in 6 months, Baba. If I get out of jail, alive, I'm going to be locked up with murderers or whatever. Could you imagine that conversation? Well, hey, what are you in for? Handrails on the front stairs. Like, fuck off. Fuck right off. No thanks. I will move out of the city just based on that alone. You're not going to talk to me like that. So it's, the government works for us. That's, so I don't understand how in the United States you hear the term the power of the people. Well, apparently not. I don't get it. But this then ties back into that whole just obsession with things. Everybody is from 0 to 100, whether that's on your opinion on something, right? You're either for guns or against it. Abortion, yes or no. Taylor Swift, yes or no. If you fall in the middle, like if you're not 0 to 100, if you're in like that 30 to like 60 range, you're the odd man out because you have to be that fed up, that fired up about something, and then it's the people, I would think, I hope, the vast majority of people who aren't that loud and that whatever, they're the ones that are kind of just, it's not, whatever. So send me an email, tell me your thoughts, live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com.
We're out of time. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some